Olá, eu sou a Renata Gandolfo. Bem-vindos a mais um VE Entrevista. Hoje nós estamos com a Carolyn, ela é autora de 2 de nossos livros e veio para a Conferência Fiel Mulheres 2018. Carolyn, nós gostaríamos de saber como você responderia a algumas mulheres na nossa última conferência de jovens se sentem inconformadas com a atitude de alguns homens e por isso veem benefícios no feminismo. O que você diria para essas jovens?
I think this answer requires a lot of nuance to understand the particular culture of the churches that you're speaking to and the people's experience within them. But I think broadly we can look at it from two different angles. One is that even churches that are biblically faithful to what leadership and structure looks like, what ecclesiology looks like, can still sometimes be tone deaf to the voice of women, and they don't really practice an understanding of the siblinghood of Christ, meaning that we are brothers and sisters and we need each other to be able to represent the fullness of Christ in his gospel witness. So this requires gracious patience on the behalf of women who can sometimes see failings and weaknesses, to remember that we are needed. Our gifts from Christ are needed to build the body. They are needed to witness to the community around us. That said, on the other hand, there can be these moments where we forget as cultures, whether it's in the U.S. or here in Brazil, that the pastorate is given, leadership is given as a gift to equip the body for the works of Christ, for the works of ministry, for the works of all the gifts that he has. And so what we've done sometimes is create a professional platform, and it's kind of awkward to say this coming in as an author and a person who's speaking at a conference, that sometimes that very culture creates this Christian celebrity platform that says, oh, you're worth it, and everybody else who's listening, not worth it. And that's so opposite the kingdom perspective, where Christ wants us to serve, and he wants us to serve the least of these, and he wants us to serve in secret, and he wants us to remember those that others overlook. So we can have this tension where we've professionalized the speaking gifts from the platform and forgotten the rest of the gifts that the body also needs. So in each case, what I would say is to young women to be patient. Christ is patient with us. He sees all of this mess in the church, and he's still pushing us toward the beautiful bride that he wants to make us to be in his church. And so there are these moments where you can think, I want that, and I can look at scripture and see boundaries and feel like maybe there's more that's said on restrictions than there is said on freedoms. Well, ask some good and gracious and patient questions about that. How can I flourish within the church? How can I use my gifts? But remember, it's not necessarily for the one thing that we focus on, which is who's on the platform. And I think that can be helpful in achieving that balance. Now, this is a very nuanced and a broad question, particular to a person's specific church experience. But I would say to remember that Christ is patient with his people here, and we can be with each other as well.
Muito obrigada, Carolyn.